This is chapter 23. So this is Pruthu's penance and ascension to heaven. Now, if you remember in the last chapter, what we had done was King Prithu is ruling over his kingdom, and while performing a yajna, Sanatan comes over there. Actually, all of them come over there. Sanatan gives him a very good advice. Then he is ruling over his kingdom, and everything is going on quite fine. Now, he has got 5 children, all right, and his wife is there, Archie. If you remember, Archie and he have come from the arms, the limbs of King Vena. Now, King Vena is the so-called father of this person, but he is the Lord himself. So this is what we had understood so far. So now we are going to start a new chapter today. This is chapter 23, and this talks about the two ashramas that a person has to go through. The first one is a vanaprastha ashrama, and the second one is a sannyasa ashrama. So these are the two ashrams a person is supposed to go through, which tells us that at every stage in life, from 0 to 2025, we are in the we are basically studying, learning, those kind of things. And after that, from 2025 to say 50 or so, 45, 50, a person is supposed to be a householder. He's supposed to get married. He is supposed to get a job, look at a house, have children, settle down in his life, and buy properties. Those kind of general things. That is the second part. Now the third part of life starts where we call it the Vanaprastha. Vanaprastha basically means you have to start your journey towards the path of leaving this world. Okay, which translates into that I have to now start giving up. In our world, we call it, say, taking a back seat or becoming a retired person. That is basically the general idea is that. It happens in the third stage of your life. And then the fourth stage of your life is just around, say, if a person lives for 100, then the stage starts at around 20, 75 or so. All right. Which means sannyasa ashram. Sannyasa ashram means actually giving up everything. So these are the 4 ashrams a person is supposed to follow. So now here is King Prithu entering the third ashrama. So we are going to do this chapter 23. So we are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. This is chapter 23. Prithu's penance and ascension to heaven. So Maitreya Muni is continuing with the story. Maitreya Muni said, the self-controlled son of Vena, that is Pruthu, the protector of all subjects, has made the arrangements of fostering his creation by founding agriculture and of human habitations like cities, villages, etc. He provided for the livelihood of the mobile and the immobile creatures. He supported the practice of religion, that is dharma, by pious people. He carried out the mission of the Lord for which he had created in this world. One day, finding himself to have grown very old, he entrusted to his son his daughter like earth, which was as if crying due to the separation from him. Unattended by any one servant, he retired to the penance forest along with the queen, while the subject became depressed in mind and dispirited. Now here we are getting an entire glimpse of how this transformation is happening. So Prithu, who is the son of Vena, Vena is a king. Now Prithu is the one who has given, he was the first king of this Prithvi. Prithvi means the earth. So he was the first ruler of this entire civilization. Now, when you are the number one, which is basically you are the one from where it is all starting, so you set up the systems, correct? So naturally, he set up the entire way of life for everyone. So here you will find that he is the founding figure of agriculture. Actually, agriculture never existed before this. Now think about this. We are talking of a civilized world. All right? We are not talking of a world from dating back to antiquity. Please remember this. Always understand one thing, the civilized world is different than the antiquity. You will ask this question, why are there no dinosaurs over here at that time? We are not discussing dinosaurs, we are discussing a mind which is developed, right? So the civilization is not more than 10,000, 20,000 BC. Please understand this. It is maximum, it can be around 15 or 20,000 BC, not more than that. So then what happened prior to that? Well, a number of generations had come and gone. Okay. Now all those were Manus, they were there at different times and things started moving in a different direction. Then the entire world comes to an end. That is the Pralaya, as we call it. Pralaya is the last. That's the finishing off. The earth undergoes a massive change. There will be floods, there will be volcanoes erupting, the land will go under, water will inundate the whole earth. This is what happens. This is called the Great Floods. The Great Floods happened somewhere in 10,000 or 12,000 BC. Okay? So BCE, it happened 10 to 12,000 BC. After that, the generation started. So we are not discussing something which is forefathers like, okay, this has happened then. No. We are discussing something which is quite 12 or 13,000 years old. So understand, so it's a developed civilization. Now, here I would like you to understand something. Every new civilization that comes along, the next civilization is advanced. So what is this advancement that we are talking about? The advancement is nothing but something which the universe does. A simple example would be, now let us say you are training a dog, right? So when you train a dog, what happens? He knows how to eat his food, he knows everything around him, correct? Now they have children. The children need not be taught everything from ABCD. So the next generation learns pretty fast because already their data exists within their field. All right. Now you may wonder, how is it that the data already exists within the field? So there is something which happens in this world, and whatever that happens in this world is, let us say, the data which was there earlier carries forward into the next generation. And then the next, and then the next, and then the next. So the new generation that keep on coming are already knowing a lot of things which need not be taught to them. And that is the reason why this King Pruthu, who is the ruler of the earth, knew about agriculture. I hope you get it. So when he knows about agriculture, it is important that you understand there is no need for you to retrain somebody again and again and again and again. It just happens by itself. The world has this particular, thing embedded within the system. So, okay, so I just wanted to give you all a brief idea about this. So, let us continue. So, he brought in agriculture and habitations like cities and villages. So, villages and cities came into existence during that time. Naturally, if you see the Indus Valley and all, the plumbing system, the underground water drainage and all that was so beautiful. Again, if you see the Egyptian civilization, or if you go to South Americas, or if you go to the European civilizations, you will see that they looked very advanced. It is but natural. Please understand, it is natural and it is supposed to happen. So he was talking about how to develop livelihood. All right. Then he provided everything for the moving and the non-moving. What is moving? You and me type, human beings, animals, birds and all that. But non-moving, plants and other things, correct? When they are stuck in the ground. So they need to be watered and they need to be given their share of whatever food that is there, correct? So all that he created. He supported practice of religion of pious people. He taught religion. See, when we say religion, immediately the thought process is, oh, there is, the bias comes into the picture. No, religious ways, dharmic methodology. What is good, what is bad, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, those kind of do's and don'ts and all that. Okay. So, one day, finding himself has grown very old, he entrusted to his son. Whatever the kingdom that he had, he gave it to his son. And he said, now you are the king. And one fine day, he decided to walk out of the kingdom. Now, in today's day and age, you will find that this doesn't exist. Why? Because even at the age of 50, 60, 70 also, or 80 also, people are still interested in working. They are interested in earning money. They are interested in the future. You are at 60 or whatever, you can be dead tomorrow. All my friends of my age are already dead. Can you imagine that? I had some 3-4 good friends in my life. This body is quite old. And naturally, these guys were also of the same age and they are dead and gone. Some died 5 years ago, some died last year. So it's okay. So how can you say that at the age of 50 or 60, you are still looking forward to earning so that you will have a better life tomorrow? Sir, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. First, you have to take a back seat. Look at all the old people today. They don't want to give up. Have you noticed? They want to continue living. There are people who are spending billions of dollars just to remain young. A very great singer, she used to sing in Las Vegas. She is really a fantastic singer. And this singer, while on her deathbed, told how she likes this adrenochrome and the things which, are supposed to be not spoken out loud. How the abuse happened. And she was a part of that abuse. Why? Because she wanted to live more. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You can try whatever you want to. So this is something which we need to understand. And so when the time is right, finding himself to have grown old, he entrusted to his son his daughter like earth, which was crying due to separation. Unattended by anyone, he retired to the penance forest. That means he went away to Vanaprastha. He went away. Without any interruption in the observance of rules of self-discipline, there too he began to practice a course of austere penance, highly approved by the Vanaprasthas with the same zeal and determination which he showed formerly to the conquest of the world. Every stage in life we have a rule. The rule is to follow a certain discipline kind of a action, which basically translates into, for certain age, certain things are required to be done. But if you don't do them, the suffering is going to be much greater later on. Think about it. Today, if you don't eat good food, suppose you are in the age group of 20, 30, 40, you are eating all junk food. You are eating noodles from outside. You are eating burgers. You are eating cheese stuff and buying stuff from outside and eating it. Highly processed food. What are you missing? So you are missing most of the important ingredients your body requires. For the development of the bones, certain things are required. For the development of the brain, certain things are required. For the development of your, say, any kind of the body structure that you have, there is a certain requirement. And you are not even paying attention to it. And if you are not paying attention to it, how will you translate it into your children's actions? Children are interested in eating all the crap in the world. You know, most of the children, they want to eat all these burgers and fries and this and that and chocolates and all kinds of stuff. That is not healthy. Their mind is going to develop only for a short duration of time. After that, they are going to become complete dunces. Do you know the current generation, which is called Gen Z, Alpha, their IQs have gone down so badly, and the next generation that is going to come, because their parents are very duffers, the parents are themselves complete idiots. They are also millennials and all. If, imagine, what kind of knowledge are they going to pass on to the next generation? They are not eating healthy food. So think like this. So today, have you seen the whole world is exploding into nutraceuticals? Have you heard of this term, nutraceuticals? No? Let me tell you. There are lots of these tablets and drinks and this and that available in the marketplace. Oh, there is a magnesium deficiency. Have magnesium. There is a nitric oxide deficiency. Okay, have that. Then you have this problem. Then you have that problem. You know how many different cyanocobalamin and the less of those things and less of these things. All kinds of things are missing from your body. And what do? You take supplements. So when you take supplements, do you really think that that supplement is helping? No. When you have already destroyed the system, if you have destroyed the aircraft and you are putting on, you are keeping a very good bomb below that aircraft, what is the point if you have the most advanced weapon, but a aircraft which is very old, it's not going to deliver? Are you understanding? You are an old person who is not interested in your health. You want to eat all the crap in the world. And now you are trying to get it from outside. Doesn't work. And listening to the advice of all the people, you have destroyed your life. So here, what is he saying? The self-discipline is very important. Okay? Even in the third stage of life, self-discipline is very, very important. What is the meaning of the word self-discipline? You have to get up at a precise time. You have to do all your, ablutions every day precisely at the exact moment. Does the sun say tomorrow I will sleep and I will get up at 11 o'clock? Does the sun say that? No. Your son will say that. Okay, this is a play upon words. Why? because you don't care. The sun, which is ruled by Pruthu, gets up at the right time, sets at the right time, everything happens at the perfect moment, the rains come in the time, the mangoes are there in season, everything works in season except you. So now if you are in the first stage, second stage or third stage of your life, how much of self-discipline are you having? Got the point? So have self-discipline. And he practiced a course of austere penances. There is austere penances that are ascribed to this particular group, that is Vanaprastha group. You are supposed to follow that. Everything is very clearly defined. Getting up in the morning, doing all the ablutions that are necessary, breathing exercise, this, that, all those things are important. We have to do it. He lived upon bulbous and ordinary roots and fruits, and occasionally on dry leaves. For some fortnights he took water only, and thereafter he subsisted on air only. In the summer, the warrior sage practiced Panchagni sadhana. This Panchagni sadhana is something I will explain a little bit later on. In the rainy season, he exposed himself to the downpour of rains. In the winter, he stood immersed in cold water up to the neck and slept on the bare ground all through the year. Okay, let me just give you an understanding of this subject. What is the importance of Panchagni sadhana? You see, you are working in the kitchen today, okay? And you pick up a hot vessel. Immediately, what do? Oh, and you will drop the vessel. Correct? You don't have the capacity of bearing a little pain also, because you have become so weak, so tired, and you don't even have the energy. Now do you understand where you are going wrong? You don't have the capacity to hold even a hot vessel. You don't know how to handle cold. A little cold happens, and 100 times doctors visit. Every year it is the same. Right? After that, all these things which is mentioned, Panchagni sadhana means, first you have to learn how to sit in the heat outside, in burning sun. You know, sun, most of the people will say, oh, I get a sunstroke, I cannot go out in the sun. Whereas you are supposed to practice that. It's not for torturing yourself. It is meant for the purpose of ensuring that you can overcome the body. The body is there, no? So body overcoming is very, very important. So Panchagni sadhana. So there are 5 types of fires you have to overcome. First is the sun, second one is the burning fire, and so on and so forth. These are there in 5 directions. Okay? And then rains. You go out in the rain today. First and foremost, the first thing you will say is what? Oh, the water is polluted, The rain which drops down is an acid rain. Finished. Second one, I will get cold, I will get cough, I will suffer from this. So have you seen your own body structure has become so weak, you can't even bear anything. So he's supposed to do that. In the winter, he stood in cold water up to the neck and slept on the bare ground. People don't want to sleep on the bare ground. They want thick pile of bed, all cool, comfortable and all that. He practiced endurance, controlled his speech and sense organs. He observed celibacy and mastered pranayama. He practiced the most austere type of penance with a desire to propitiate Lord Krishna. Now, all these things he is doing for what reason? Overcoming the body and only thinking of Krishna. The only thing that he was doing was focusing on Sri Krishna alone. So you have to practice breath control. I have taught you all very simple breath practice, very, very simple. In breath, out breath, and all those things. You don't have to go into complicated breath practices, but you can do simple breath practices and you will have benefits from that. So he practices that an austere type of penance. Due to the practice of this austere penance, which gradually reaches perfection, his balance of the karmas become exhausted and becomes pure in mind. By means of pranayama, breath control, all six passions are completely subdued and the bondage of vasanas are cut asunder. For those who are on the path of spiritual, this is a very important thing to know. First and foremost, when you practice this penance, a lot of these small karmas that are there, which you have accumulated, they get minused out. Okay? Not the major karmas, the minor karmas that are there, they get exhausted. Second, what happens is you are able to, by means of breath control, pranayama, you will be able to control the six passions. That is, anger, lust, greed, and all that. You will be able to control that. So, what happens to you? Then your mind is completely focused on Sri Krishna alone. You don't have any other thing to do. Alright? Then, Pruthu, the prominent person, worships Supreme Man by that very highest yoga, which Venerable Sanat Kumara explained to him at the best path to Atma. As the righteous king was performing his duty sacred to the Lord and was increasingly, unceasingly exerting himself with faith, he developed complete devotion to the glorious Brahma exclusively. So, when a person practices this very, very diligently, what happens to the person? He goes through the path of all these, knowledge path and so on and so forth. He reaches the state of Brahma. Brahma means perfect knowledge. So the person attains knowledge, perfection in knowledge. And that is how he is able to reach this state. Then you develop the glorious Brahma exclusively. His mind became purely sattvic. Through adoration and service of the Lord, he attained to knowledge combined with renunciation, knowledge which became sharpened by his devotion, which went on increasing continuously through constant remembrance and a comprehensive realization of the Lord's greatness. It is with such knowledge that he tore off the sheath called the Jiva, the knot of egotism, ahankara in the heart, which is the basis of doubts and misapprehensions. So here is someone who is able to overcome his mind. So overcoming his mind, he became pure sattvic human being. After going through that, he learned the adoration to God. So he entered the path of devotion to the Lord. When he entered the path of devotion, then knowledge and every other thing comes freely to you, as you know very well. If you are a devotee of Sri Krishna on his own will grant you everything. If you want liberation also, he will grant you. Everything can be granted to you. Alright? So he gets that. And it means with this knowledge, he was able to tear the sheath of Jiva. This Jiva that is there. What is this? This body attachment which you have. Oh, I am like this. Oh, I am like that. So on and so forth. All this body attachment goes away. Okay? And then you do not think of your body from any point of view. Because body is overcome. And once you overcome the body, then your ego cracks. There is no ego left in the person. And after that, he is able to overcome all these material worldly problems that are there and reach Sri Krishna. When his concept of self-body identification was dispelled, he realized the real nature of the soul and became desireless and disinterested even in the mystic yoga. Powers like anima lagima, they were acquired by him. He gave up the attempt to attain the knowledge wherein he store off his sheath. That is called jiva or egotism, which is a source of doubt. For so long, even a recluse does not feel devotion and attachment to the stories of Lord Krishna. he will not cease to be attracted by the yogic discipline. See, many people in this world, they do not have this clear idea. The idea is this: human beings are trying desperately to reach this state of enlightenment or realization or emancipation. They want to reach these states. Unfortunately for them, they do not have devotion to the Lord. See, please understand one thing. Whether it is Sri Krishna, whether it is Pruthu, whether it is Jesus, or whosoever that is there in this world, did they not say that the Lord is in the form of a person? Right? So those who believe in the Advaitic Vedanta and all these things, they don't believe in any God. This line tells you from the Srimad Bhagavatam that come whatever may, you may be going and doing whatever possible, yoga, pranayama, these, that, all kinds of things, and you may be thinking about the Brahma. But if you do not have any devotion to Krishna, you are not going to go and get anything in life, not even realization. So if you do not follow this path, which is prescribed by this scripture and by all other scriptures in the world, what are they prescribing? Devotion to God. The God is a person. He is not abstract. Even when, the oldest of the religions that were there in this world, the oldest of the religions is our Sanatan Dharma. We talk about a living God. We are talking about a God with form. Similarly, the Abrahamic religions also talk with a God with form. That is why you will find that Abraham was praying to God. Okay? Similarly, Jesus said, my Father in heaven. He is talking of a person. If you do not follow this path, you are going to be lost in that thing. Now, who are the people who do not follow this path? The Buddhists, the Jains, and there are a lot of other religions which do not follow this path. They are always going to be lost in the world, is what is being mentioned over here. For so long as even a recluse means somebody who is lost in yoga and somebody who is thinking that he is doing some Advaita and all that, does not feel devotion and attachment to the stories of Lord Krishna, he will not cease to be attracted by the yogic disciplines. So, no, not a single result will come for this kind of a person if they do not develop this attachment to Krishna. Thus, at the time of the end of his life, the great hero concentrated his mind firmly in the Supreme Soul, established, stabilizing him in the Brahma. He cast off his mortal coil. He closely pressed both his heels on his anus. This is a method. Listen to this method. He closely pressed both his heels on his anus. He slowly forced up his vital airs from the Muladhara Chakra upwards. He held the vital airs up progressively at the navel and then at the heart, the chest, the throat, and the head, the place between the eyebrows. That is, he's gone through these various chakras, okay? Mystical plexuses, that is Manipura and so on and so on, Anahata, Vishuddhi and all that. Finally entering over here, this is called the Agya Chakra. By degrees, he conducted up his breath up the crown to the head and made it occupy the Brahmarandra. The channel between Agya Chakra and the Sahasrara, there is a gap. There is nothing there, and that is the Brahmarandra. It is a kind of a knot which you can't actually understand that. So you have to step over it and go to the top. So this is something which is explained. I will try to explain to you in a very simple manner. By degrees, he conducted his breath in the crown of his head and made it occupy the Brahmarandra. Freeing himself from all the desires, he merged the wind element in the body with the outer Vayu element, the earth element, with the Prithvi element, the vacuum in the appearance, in the cosmic element, Akasha, and liquid in the body with the element water, each on its own source. He then contemplated the merger of cosmic elements, earth into water, water into fire, fire into wind, and wind into cosmic Akasha. This process is called Laya Chintana, contemplation of the process of absorption. I will try to explain this to you all simply as much as I can. There is a method. First and foremost, there is a place between the organs which you need to put your the leg and the heel at that place, so that whatever the kundalini that is going up and down does not enter the lower regions. Almost all the people, their kundalini enters the lower region. That means they are not at all practicing anything. No discipline, nothing. They don't practice anything. So what happens is, when their kundalini enters, it goes to the lower regions. In the lower region, a person becomes lazy, sleeps, dozes off, feels tired all the time, exhausted, depressed, anxious. All these things are connected to the lower realm. The realm which is from the hip till the toe. Hip till the toe, the leg region. These people are literally like animals. They like to sleep a lot. They don't do their work. They always want to be lazy. They never get up. They are always feeling tired and angry and upset. This kind of nature is there for this person. They have allowed their kundalini to go into the ground. These people, they can never get up from this, simply because they do not practice anything in their life. For the person to rise up in life, they have to first practice getting the kundalini rising upwards. So we execute a knot at the bottom near the Muladhara chakra, so that whatever the inward breath that is there is diverted upwards again. It doesn't go down into the ground. So whatever energies that are there, they are not dissipated. So they are going up. So we first execute a knot at the bottom. That's what he said. Using closed, pressed heels on his anus, he said these words. Forcing the vital airs, the prana, upwards. So they trigger the first chakra, then they go to the second chakra, that is triggered. Okay. Then the third, which is just above the navel, that is triggered. Then the fourth one, which is near the heart, that is triggered. So like that, slowly trying different knots. 1 knot, 2 knot, 3 knot, like that. They make this kundalini rise. So people, those who are the lazy type, have allowed their energies, their prana to drain off into the ground. They don't do anything in their life. The second type of a person who is always interested in, I want money, I want this, I want recognition, people should know who I am, what I am, that kind of, is a basic need. Okay, the basic need is there. Hierarchy of needs, Maslow's theory. Exactly. So the person is interested in eating, sleeping, drinking, those kind of things. That is the first one near the Muladhara chakra. The second chakra is a person who is always excited, sexually excited person. He's only interested in having all kinds of libidinous activities. The third person is a person who is interested in, I want to be better in my career, I want to build a house, I want to buy a car, I want to do this, I want to be known by people, people should come and admire me, my house, everybody should come and feel jealous about it. You understand? These kind of idiots are there in this world. That is just at the navel. So they are still in lower in category. These people will never grow in their life. In spiritual, these people can never grow. If somebody is interested in money, power, fame and all those, they are always operating at that level. They cannot grow in their life. They will read all these books of the secret and this and that, and they want to do all these things, okay? Huh? And they want to always grow in their life, money and this and that. Now let us come to the next one. A person who understands what is the meaning of love. Unconditional love. A person who has unconditional love does not feel bad about anything. He is always very good. This is the chakra of the heart. The heart is always, we also show the heart in all this, WhatsApp and all that, isn't it? So when you show the heart, it means love. It means goodness. It means kindness. It means feeling nice about the whole thing. Not feeling, bad and stuff like that. These people are not interested in accumulating money, power, fame, nothing, nothing. They don't want extra money. They don't want anything. They want to give others happiness, love. That is this chakra of the heart. After that, the chakra is called the chakra of the throat. The person who is in the throat chakra, the chakras are always, are going upwards. We have to push our energies upwards. The one which is in the throat, this person constantly talks about God 24/7. So any action that the person does will always say, God is doing this, God is doing that, singing bhajans, kirtans, talking about God all the time, not half the time, okay? Otherwise, you'll immediately start comparing. No, 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 I also take the name of God. No. If you are taking the name of God, you can be even a sexualized creature. Doesn't matter. Okay? So that doesn't mean anything. Please understand, this person is a devotee of God. He speaks of God all the time. A person like Tukaram Maharaj, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, they operate at the throat level. They normally end up with cancer of the throat. I'm sure you have heard about this also. Because constant taking the name of God, finally a time comes in their life when they are croaked. They can't speak more. Why? Now the next stage is the eyes, Agya Chakra. They only see God, but their mouth shuts down. They cannot speak. Their mouths are completely shut down. They are not able to speak a word. And they are constantly lost looking at the divinity in front of them. I'm not joking about these kind of people. There are really very great sages who can see God in front of them. You and I may not be able to. Okay? And then the last one, which is called Brahmarandra. To travel from Brahmarandra, from the Agya Chakra through Brahmarandra to the final stage, which is the head, the Sahasrahara is very, very difficult. It requires tremendous amount of concentration, power, and so on and so forth. The control over literally everything. These people don't have any desires of any kind. No desires whatsoever. All right. So I hope I have given you a small understanding of how this thing happens. And when you enter into this state, when you have entered these stages, what happens is very simply this. You start giving up everything that is yours. So the water element in your body mixes up with the water element in this universe. The air in your body is mixing up with the air element in the universe. The fire in your body is mixing up with the fire from outside. So all the elements start becoming one. And when they become one, they merge inside each other. Then slowly and steadily, the earth goes inside the water into the fire into the wind into the akasha, that is the ether. And then everything dissolves, then nothing remains. This is called the Laya Chintana. Okay, I have given you an understanding. It is called nothing but the process of absorption. Now, he absorbed the mind, implying presiding deities in the well, into the senses into the subtle elements from which they were severally emerged. These he carried higher still, and he contemplated the above object along with the ahankara as merged with the Mahat Tattva, that is the principle of cosmic intelligence. So, what do you do? All that you have gathered in your life is not yours, no? It all belongs to the Lord. Prakriti is the owner of all these elements. You are not the owner. You have just taken this body. The body belongs to Mother Nature, not to you. You have to return everything. So when you are going away, don't you return all these things back to earth? Naturally. So giving everything back is very, very important. And that is why then what is left of yours? Your ahankara, that I am. You are nobody now. You are not a body. Nobody. No body. Got it? Your body is given back to nature. Then what is left of yours? Nothing. So this ahamkara merges into the bigger ahamkara. And then the Mahat Tattva, that is this universal cosmic intelligence that is there. Your intelligence merges with the universal intelligence. Everything becomes devoid of everything. Nothing remains over there. He merged the Mahat, the ground of the Gunas, into the Jiva conditioned by Maya. By the power of his knowledge and renunciation, Prithu, still a Jiva conditioned by Maya, became established in the pure Brahmahood and the caste of conditioning Maya attached to the self. His wife, the great queen Archie, though too delicate to touch the bare ground with her feet, followed him to the penance forest. Though she became extremely emaciated by the intense devotion in participating to the austere observances and religious duties by her husband, by rendering personal service to him, and by leading the sage's way of life, she did not feel any affliction, as she was satisfied with the loving regard and affectionate touch of her beloved husband's hand. Now, just the story is continuing. He has merged everything into the respective elements, has given up everything. Everything is done by the knowledge that he has. Okay? The knowledge has transmitted to him by Sanatana. Got it? Now, his wife, Prithu's wife, Archie, had also followed him. She was also interested in doing the same thing. Having observed the body of the protector of the earth, her own beloved husband became completely devoid of consciousness, life, etc. The pious lady wept for a while and got its place in the funeral pyre in the ridge of the mountains. She bathed in the water of the river, performed the prescribed rites, having given libations to the water of the departed souls of her husband, the performer of noble deeds. She paid obeisance to the celestial gods who were assembled there to witness the self-immolation. She went round the fire 3 times and, meditating on the feet of her husband, entered the funeral pyre. Seeing the chaste lady perform immolation after her husband, Prithu, the great hero, thousands of goddesses who were competent to confer boons, began to praise her along with the consorts. They showered flowers on the peak of the mountain Mandara. While the celestial trumpets were blowing, they spoke in praise of each other. So here you will find that the wife gives up her body and the husband is there. Then the gods have come over there, they have taken up the body. Oh, what a blessed wife is this, who with all the heart served her husband, the King of Kings, just as Lakshmi does to the Lord of Sacrifices, Narayana. Following her husband Prithu, The chess lady really proceeds to a region higher than ours. Look, Archie is going beyond us, the virtue of the noble deeds, incomprehensible to the unrighteous. What a verily difficult to be achieved by those mortals who, through the span of their life on the earth is uncertain, attains to the spiritual knowledge leading to the region of the Lord. He is definitely deceived, a veritable enemy of his own self, who is great difficulty attains to the life as being human being capable of leading liberation, is attached to the object of pleasure. Suppose you're attached to the object of pleasure. I want this, I want that. All kinds of wants and desires are there. There is no way in which you can ever be one with God. See, all kinds of desires that are there are going to make you, I, me, myself good. Okay? I want money, I want power, I want this, I want people to recognize me, I want a house, I want children, I want cars, I want all this. I. There is no God in all this I. So here, Archie was so beautiful, so nice that she had already given up her ego long, long ago. So she was able to enter the heavens. When the heavenly damsels, I'll just finish this chapter. Okay, were praising her, Archie reached the region of the husband, the region of the Prithu, whose mind was concentrated on Lord Vishnu, and attained him. On such glory and prowess was King Prithu that the supermost mighty monarch, I have described to you the history of the king of the noble deeds. He who with faithful and attentive mind reads, listens, or recounts the extremely holy life of Prithu would attain to the region of Prithu. By reading this, a Brahmana would become preeminent in Brahmanic lore, a Kshatriya, ruler of this world, a Vaishya, the leader in the guild, and a Shudra, okay, would attain the most preeminent position. So if you listen to this very beautiful story of King Prithu, you will attain to your own destination. Okay. After hearing this account thrice with faith and reverence, a man or a woman, if devoid of issue, becomes blessed with progeny, and if penniless, he becomes wealthiest. An obscure person gets good renown, a dull witted person becomes a scholar, and this is a means of attaining prosperity to men, averting evil and inauspiciousness. It is blessed with wealth, glory, longevity, heavenly blessings, and removing the impurities of the Kali's Yoga. Those who aspire are full achievements of the four Purushartha, that is Artha, Kama, Moksha, and all that, Dharma, should regularly and with faith listen to the story of King Prithu, which is the best means of securing the four Purushartha. So, if you are interested in attaining this Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, listen to the story. A king intended to undertake the conquest of the world starts his expedition after listening to this. The king against whom he marches will receive him with tributes as was done to Prithu. Even though one gets auspicious fruits mentioned above from listening to Prithu's life, one who gives up all desires and bears pure motiveless devotion to the Lord should listen, narrate, and read the holy life of Prithu, the son of Vena. O Vidura, the story of Prithu, which reveals the greatness of the Venerable Lord, has been narrated to you. A mortal who devotes his mind to it attains to the goal achieved by Prithu. A person who devotedly listens to or narrates the story of Prithu every day becomes free from attachment and develops intense love and devotion to the Lord, whose feet serve as a boat to cross the sea of worldly existence. So, this is like an ending sentence where if you listen to the story very, very sincerely about King Prithu, then you will attain all your objectives in your life. So, we have come to the end of chapter 23 and we will stop over here for today. Recording stop.